On today's show, we'll take a look at Texas State ever-increasing enrollment, and we'll also see if things are going to get a little bit more crowded. We'll also follow Texas State students and see what they were doing for the past few weeks to celebrate and make a difference in the community. We'll have all those stories and more coming up next on Studio A. Hello and welcome to Studio A. I'm your host, Imari Mora, and joining me for today's show is Daniel Herrera, Adriana Ruiz, Terry Rodriguez, and Sydni Emery was supposed to be here today, but she's out sick with the flu. Feel better, Sydni. So to start the show, the first thing that we're going to cover is a story that I got to go to. So the last 6 months and the last year was kind of difficult for Texas State's performing arts students because they lost a beloved teacher and they also lost a fellow student. And they were both remembered in a unique way. Let's take a look. Travis Green and Jeremy Torres were both artists, leaders, and mentors who inspired art and creativity in the San Marcos community.
If you did know him, you knew that you were around someone who would influence you for the rest of your life, and I was just very lucky to have him for as long as I did.
Travis Green was a student and organization leader who made efforts to showcase the undiscovered talents and art of his peers. Jeremy Torres was a professor and head of performance and production in the School of Theater and Dance, who was committed to elevating theatrical experiences throughout his alma mater and local community. This teacher and student, both of whom passed away in the last year, inspired the showcase. As tribute to two Bobcats who inspired art at Texas State as well as through the San Marcos community, these performers are putting together a show to remember. Musicians, dancers, poets, and artists came together to perform in front of an intimate audience at the Texas State Studio Theater. Artists performed both original works and pieces created by the late pair.
You would love us doing this right now, just spreading joy and people's stories, creating art.
So performers in the show were both friends of Travis Green and also students of Jeremy Torres. And so they continue to celebrate Travis Green's legacy with a group that he used to be a part of called Off on a Tangent. And they do performances and they produce shows and things like that.
That's awesome. What made this memorial unique?
So something that made it unique was the way that they kind of carried the show. So at the beginning, even though it's a memorial, they really had a positive outlook, and the performers did a great job by engaging the audience and kind of getting everyone involved to feel like they're a part of the whole performance.
Wow, that's really great. So how would you say that the atmosphere was for the entire tribute showcase?
The atmosphere for the tribute showcase was, at the beginning, it was really happy, uplifting, upbeat, but they really took the audience through kind of the whole emotions of the show. So at the end, the last performance was really emotional, and it really left the audience in silence, and everyone was just in awe of how they decided to end the show.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thanks for covering that.
Absolutely. So from a tribute showcase to Blackfest, Texas State's Pan-African Committee celebrated the Black community, and Studio A's Janelle Abad was able to cover the event.
With February being Black History Month, leaders in Texas State's Black community stepped up to empower and educate.
I mean, Black History Month every year is a holiday. I feel like I found myself just talking to other Black people and saying Happy Black History Month like it's Merry Christmas.
The Pan-African Action Committee at Texas State spread out festivities over the last 7 days of February.
Black Excellence Week ends with Blackfest, a festival celebrating the Black community at Eddie Durham Park.
In collaboration with Naturally You, the Pan-African Action Committee aimed to break stereotypes, including the stigma around the word Black.
When they say Black, they should think about this diversity and this excellence and this good, positive time, rather than thinking about whatever politicized thing that has been turned into.
The festival brought together poets, activists, and artists to highlight the talent within the Black community. Leaders in the community sparked conversation about organizing the youth, the beauty in natural hair, and working to get their voices heard.
So the ghost line for this first one.
More information on Texas State's cultural organizations can be found at getinvolved.lbjsc.txstate.edu. So staying on campus, but switching to an issue we can all relate to. With enrollment at an all-time high, incoming and current students are facing a new challenge to compete for space. And Studio Away's Sydni Emery took a look to see how the university is accommodating the increase in enrollment.
Between the quad and bus stops, all of the students at Texas State are hard to miss. Enrollment has grown steadily over the last 19 years, with a sharp increase in the last decade.
We've seen a real surge the last 7-8 years or so. Applications are coming in. The more applications we receive, the more selective we can be.
Despite the university being able to be more selective, the growth shows little sign of slowing. Next fall is up 21% from 2016.
I feel like they should limit on how many people they accept. I mean, I know they accept all these people, and some of them don't come. I feel like they should limit on how many people they accept, seriously.
Undergraduate admissions is more than one.
Laird says there has been no discussion of a cap on new enrollment, and that is up to the president's office to decide how many students get admitted.
As the amount of incoming freshmen continue to increase, students wonder what university officials are going to do to help accommodate this increase in enrollment.
The increase in enrollment here at Texas State affects me as a student by making me work harder. It is actually more challenging because you want to be at the very best and at the top of your class.
And to help the student experience, the admissions office works with housing and parking to make sure there are enough accommodations. With new dorms and a new engineering building, students hope that this will alleviate the crowding.
Keep in mind that we're only going to grow as large and as fast as we can accommodate.
That was Sydni Emery reporting. Now, the university with increasing enrollment is looking to up pedestrian access, shuttles, and bike areas at Texas State. Coming up next, we'll see how the community came together to take care of the San Marcos River, and we'll also take you to San Antonio's Women's March when Studio A continues.
Looking to sell your fresh, homegrown, or homemade goods? The San Marcos Farmers Market might be the place for you. From produce and baked goods to arts and crafts, what you find may surprise you. You can stop by and have a snack while you walk around and browse. Also, live music from local artists helps keep shoppers entertained. The vendors provide a friendly atmosphere that adds a sweet touch to the farmers market experience. The money you spend will go towards making the local San Marcos community blossom. Most vendors accept both cash and card. On Tuesdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., we're on East Hopkins Street, right next to the Hitch Mobile Eatery. From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday, the farmers market is held between LBJ and Guadalupe on San Antonio Street. For more information, visit the San Marcos Farmers Market website.
Welcome back. The San Marcos River, known for tubing, kayaking, relaxing, attracts a lot of locals and visitors from all over, all year round. And with the constant use, the community is making efforts to clean up the river. Adriana, you were there during the river cleanup.
I was. I had the opportunity to check it out. It was a really good turnout. Although it was raining a little bit, the community really came together to clean up not just the river, but also the area surrounding it.
That's great. Let's take a look.
It runs rapid and is a staple of the city. The city of San Marcos celebrated the annual river cleanup in an effort to bring the community together for a greater cause.
I think it's really important that we set an example, that we communicate to the public how important it is to keep the river clean, and not just on this day clean it up, but year-round.
Organizations from all over the city and the country came together on this day to clean up not only the river, but the streets as well.
What we're trying to re-educate society onto the importance of safeguarding our Mother Earth.
The San Marcos River is home to 4 different endangered species that are found in no other place on Earth.
One of the things that's very important is removing as much litter from our entire community, to have more of a sense of respect for ourselves and for our environment and the place that we live, and improve our quality of life.
So about how many people would you say participated in the river cleanup that day?
There was a really good amount of people that showed up, somewhere around 700 people or so showed up, yeah.
Wow. What was some of the different trash that was pulled out of the river?
There was a lot of like aluminum cans, there was plastic bottles. The big one was definitely cigarette butts, which is really interesting because there's, you know, like no smoking signs posted all over Sewell. So yeah, there was a lot of cigarette butts.
What are some of the different endangered species that live in this river?
Well, the two big ones that are prominent to this area, the Texas blind salamander and the Texas wild rice. Is really, yeah.
Well, thank you, Adriana. Well, San Marcos isn't the only city creating awareness by getting people involved. Studio A's Krystyna Castro took to San Antonio's 27th annual Women's Day March to cover the story.
Despite the constant showers, the 27th annual San Antonio Women's Day March continued as planned.
It's to celebrate just the community that is women. Like, it seems like it's really strong, especially in San Antonio.
Women's Day, it means not only just showing respect for women, but also acknowledging that women are here, even though they're still not treated equally in some senses. To not support women, to not support my mother.
200 people from the community gathered for the march downtown, which left one protester feeling optimistic about the political climate going forward.
It's hopeful. I feel really hopeful. I feel hopeful about all the political activity that's been happening lately, and we need it. And we need people out voting and being politically active because some really scary things are happening right now.
The march brought together both men and women in the community who are working toward the same goal.
It's all of us. All of us being active together. Gay rights, women's rights, men's rights, transgender rights. We're all one community.
Women's rights are human rights. Women's rights are human rights. Women's rights are human rights. Women's rights are human rights.
The group that holds the march has meetings all year round on a variety of social topics. If you're interested in attending, you can follow their Facebook page at SA Women Will March. So it's come from the mystical worlds of Harry Potter to our very own West Campus at Texas State. Up next, we'll see why Quidditch is becoming a popular campus sport. Stay tuned.
You may have heard of the Boys and Girls Club, but the South Central Texas location is anything but ordinary.
Not only do they offer after-school programs, such as band, art, and robotics classes, but they are also home to the Texas Preparatory School. The school offers classes for kindergarten through 6th grade.
They both work hand in hand to help students achieve success through education, fitness, and other activities. Ranked as the #1 elementary school in Texas in 2014, the Boys and Girls Club's mission is to help build better futures for students.
Enroll your student today for a brighter tomorrow. For more information, call 512-805-3000 or visit www.texasprep.us.
Welcome back. This game definitely has its own set of rules, and I don't know about you all, but I remember watching the Harry Potter movies and wanting to seeing the games and seeing the movies and seeing everything, the books. It really made me want to see Quidditch in person, and now we can see Quidditch right here at Texas State. So Daniel, you went out to the fields and you got to cover the Quidditch game.
Yeah, I sure did. I mean, I was more or less in the same boat that all of you were. That I grew up with the books and reading them and watching the movies, and I was curious to see how our students here at Texas State were able to take a sport from a fantasy book into the Muggle world.
Well, let's see.
This full contact sport is far from a casual homage to the game that inspired it.
Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our
The Diamond Cup is a nationally recognized tournament for a sport with its own set of Muggle rules. Chasers interact with a deflated volleyball called the quaffle and shoot into the hoops for points, while beaters can throw bludgers at them in order to get them out.
It's kind of like a mix between rugby, dodgeball, and then it has elements of basketball defense in there as well.
The snitch enters the game 18 minutes into play and runs around trying to evade both team seekers who try to grab the tennis ball tucked into a sock hanging off the snitch's shorts. If they grab the ball, the game is over. For these chasers, beaters, and seekers, there's more to the game than just catching the snitch.
Everybody's so helpful. Everybody wants this organization to succeed, not only at the team level. I'm mostly impressed with the people that aren't on the team that volunteer and work really hard for this organization to make Diamond Cup and all of our stuff possible.
At Texas State and even nationwide, this community is connected through its love of the sport.
We know we're a family. We just work for each other and work to reach the same goal. There's no individuals on this team.
Even if you don't want to play Quidditch one day, you always have a friend in another state you can stay with, so it creates a really good bond.
So, Daniel, what was the turnout like?
Well, it was actually really great. They had students from all over Texas and even from New York. That's where the teams came from. We had students from here in Texas State supporting, as well as parents from other cities coming to see their kids play. And, it's a really great community that they've formed with each other. The parents talk about how they have kids from other cities stay at, each other's houses because there's a tournament that's in that city. And, it was honestly really cool to see.
Wow, that's awesome. What was it like being at the tournament?
A lot more intense than I anticipated. I expect a sport that comes out of a, fantasy kids book to be, kind of dorky, but these are athletes that are not afraid to get in it. It's very passionate. They love their sport, and it was amazing, honestly.
I bet. How many other schools have their own Quidditch team?
Well, according to the U.S. Quidditch League, there are upwards of 150 teams, whether that be in colleges and universities, as well as just communities that have started their own leagues and are nationally recognized. So it's becoming really popular.
It's really cool.
Thank you, Daniel. So, from the sport of wizards to the sport of kings, polo. Terry, you went out and covered a polo game right here in Central Texas.
I did. I went out to the Kyle County Line Polo Club, and I had found this link on my Facebook timeline, and I wanted to go out there and take a look and check it out.
Well, let's check it out.
It's known as the Sport of Kings, but on this day at the County Line Polo Club in Kyle, the game had a different feel.
Great day. We had live music going, and how often do you see polo horses run literally inches in front of you?
It is an old traditional sport, and it does have some regal, parts to it. But really, it is a community sport and has the opportunity to help the community more than most others.
These matches for the Admiral Nimitz Cup involving 4 military teams benefited Operation Supply Drop, which helps active duty military, their families, and veterans.
Polo isn't just for millionaires. This adrenaline-packed sport can be picked up by anyone regardless of gender and skill level.
It's really high energy, and the horses get into the game. They're athletes as well. And it's so much fun. It's high intensity for sure, and it is a dangerous sport.
And it's a sport with its American roots here in Texas, with the first recorded American matches taking place in Denison. It's also one of the few sports that allows men and women to compete on the same teams and in the same matches.
It's a tough sport. I love it, in part because I'm on the same footing. I'm on the same playing field as all the guys.
So what made you want to cover this story?
I wanted to cover this because the whole polo match benefited Operation Drop, which will bring supplies to soldiers who are across overseas.
Yeah, and it looked like there was a lot going on in there. What would you say was some of the challenges you faced when shooting this story?
Definitely. There was many challenges, including like trying to get the players and the horses on film because they're rushing by us so fast. And then what you saw me in there trying to do my stand-up where I have horses behind me who are doing their own thing and trying to get into the shot as well.
That's really funny. Is there anything that you learned about polo that you might have not known about before?
Definitely. There's definitely 2 types of polo I learned. The one we just went to, that was arena polo, so that's played on dirt, versus what you see on TV, that's more of a field polo, so it's very posh, very dressed up.
Well, thank you for that, Terry. So that's all we have for today's episode of Studio A. We hope you all enjoyed the show. I want to first off thank all the reporters for sharing their stories, and I want to thank you for watching. For Daniel Herrera, Adriana Ruiz, and Terry Rodriguez, and I'm Imari. If you want to check out all the shows that we did today on Studio A, you can look at our Texas State Studio A YouTube channel. We'll be back on April 14th with our next show. Thanks for watching.